I'm just gonna wait. It look like it's on right now. We live, but I'm gonna wait for a couple of good seconds. Then I'll slide this up. Careful with this table shaking a little bit. And this other one is saying waiting. Do I have this thing scheduled for something? All right. Do me a favor. Let me turn this down. Do me a favor. Y'all just type one in there if y'all hear me. This thing, I don't know. Y'all seen I was out earlier. I was trying some stuff out. And we were in the projects. I don't know what was going on down there. It was on and off a couple of times. I'm gonna wait because I know it may be acting up. I'm gonna see how I can do it from here because I wanna definitely see. Maybe I'll make this a little lower. Set apart, good to see you. I'm gonna wait. Y'all saw me. We were in the projects. I don't know what was going on. I want to talk a little bit about this Nick Cannon and just the whole and just Christianity in general. A lot of people get offended when they hear certain things, and I'm gonna wait for some more people coming. You know, I'm hearing plenty of that. Yeah, that noise over there. All right, do me a favor. Just type one in there. Just type one. Let me see, y'all. I think I could read it like this. I think I'm not too bad out the lighting. I'm worried more about the audio. Nick Cannon's Hebrewism. Okay. All right. Shalom. Good to see you. Set apart. Okay. I'm seeing y'all right now. I'm seeing everybody. I'm seeing everybody coming in. It's real early, but I'm not sure. I'm going to get in touch with Apostle. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on tomorrow morning because I'm going to be traveling back. But I said I wanted to jump on here a little early this evening so I can just have the rest of the evening to myself and setting things up. I've been saying certain things for a while. I've been saying certain things for a while, and people often want to get offended. A lot of people gonna get offended, because they don't know how I move. I call myself Brother Berean for a reason, because I don't want to lord over anybody. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a prophet. I'm not an apostle. I'm not a potter. I'm not nothing. I'm not nothing. As soon as I see them people running amok with that title of apologist, I'm not nothing. I'm just a brother, and I want to share certain things. I've been warning the church for a while, and that's what and this is what I call myself doing, somebody that just wants to warn the church about some things. And we have people like Nick Cannon, Kodak Black. It's a crazy time because we got people like Ice Cube. We got a lot of individuals saying things about an awakening, throwing shots at the church, and talking about their Hebrews, we're chosen. Carmelo Anthony, do me a favor, share this video, and I just want to talk about some of that. When I often tell people, like I went on earlier, and I went on from the projects in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I grew up in the church, but I spent a lot of time in the streets. I tell people that I've been in the penitentiary, and I've warned people that in the penitentiary there's a lot of guys that read a lot of books, and that was back in the 90s. But right now there's a bunch of books. There's a bunch of guys that's home, and they're on the internet, and they're teachers, and they're influencing people. And this influence has become so strong that it got up into the colleges with some people. Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima was in Rutgers. Dr. Ben was in Cornell University. We're going to talk about a few people in the conscious community, and we're going to talk about why Nick Cannon is influenced the way he's influenced, and how there's a connection with the block, how there's a connection with the streets and the drug dealers and the 5% lessons and a lot of doctrines that spilled over into middle class America now. A few days ago, I made a video on on just dealing with Europeans. There's a lot of people that's talking about subhuman, and they said the sister from Black Lives Matter, she was saying how Europeans are subhuman. And to be honest, these are conversations that's been going on in the African American community, among the Moor Science Temple, among people in the Nation of Islam, among the five percenters. And there's a lot of that stuff that has always been taught in the prisons, in the penitentiaries. But when rap came on the scene, there was certain teachings that was connected with the rap music, and the rap music and the rappers and the drug dealers were connected and going to the club together. Y'all could see videos with Tupac hanging out with hitters, hanging out with thugs, hanging out with drug dealers in the city, Mike Tyson, with cats that's involved in a different type of lifestyle, and they have a certain philosophy. So this philosophy started spreading among the drug dealers, among the basketball players, because them and the rappers and the guys coming home from jail and the murderers and the bank robbers were hanging out in the clubs together, in the Roxy's, in the roller skating ring together. They were connected. NBA players and rappers want to be connected together with boxers and street guys, and they're all connected, and they were all following the same type of philosophy. Now the church have a problem. Why do I say we have a problem? Because there's a lot of people that come home, and that's how come I say it's important when the men, I want to make sure y'all telling me, Berean, what's up with oh no, okay, I can't see that right now. All right, but y'all can hear me, right? I just wanna bring some points out because I'm trying to build up to something. When they started saying certain things, we see it in middle class America now. People that haven't been to jail, like Carmelo Anthony and Nick Cannon, we're hearing them say certain things. We're hearing these things because of Dr. Francis. She wrote ISIS papers because of Dr. Ben. He taught in Cornell because of Professor Leonard Jeffries. Professor James Small was taught on Sinetta TV. A lot of people in the African American community believe that melanin is a badge. Melanin connects us with our spirituality, and Europeans lack melanin. They're subhuman to us. They're beneath us. But when we start talking about this awakening and what's the role of the church, woke church, and this awakening and this enlightenment, in the last days knowledge is increasing, what's the role of the church? There's confusion in the church, and what's the role of the church, and what's the role of ministers in speaking on this? Somebody hit me and he started talking about, exegetically the Christmas tree, and I respect the brother. He said he came through Sunday seminary, but that shows me right there's a disconnect with you ministers. There's a disconnect with you seminarians. There's a disconnect with the preachers and the block and jail and what's being taught. The air of the streets are to the rappers and to the drug dealers and to the guys coming home from jail. I've been to jail. Sinetta been to jail. Polite been to jail. Young Pharaoh been to jail. Been to jail that got channels that's teaching philosophy. Malcolm X been to jail. The Nation of Islam, Clarence 13X been to jail. Dr. Malachi York been to jail. So the church pastors are thinking that it's one thing with seminaries, but there's a voice that's coming from the penitentiary. It's knowledge that's coming from the penitentiary, and we have to go to war with it. When a brother start talking to me, well, exegetically, when we start dealing with the Christmas tree, I know you're lost already. Why am I saying that? Because we're at war. What do I mean we're at war? ISUPK, side of the Jehovah Witnesses and the Mormons, ISUPK, GMS, IUIC, and the camps are putting in more works than all of the church combined on the block. They're known for purple. Them guys on the corner, they known with Bud Halls, and they go to big cities. They're in big cities preaching in the streets and preaching and promoting their doctrine. Now I'm going to talk about Hebrewism because it's multiple Hebrewisms, like the guy that wrote Heresy of Orthodoxy, how he was explaining a lot of people like Bart Ehrman is arguing it was multiple Christianities in the beginning. They just straight sleep on the subject, but I'm here to help the church. Church may not like it, but I'm going to tell the church what's going to block. Jeremiah 10 says that Christmas tree do not do like the pagans that bring a tree and deck it in your house. Everybody on the block, everybody in the projects, everybody in the penitentiary, everybody in the Nation of Islam, they don't know about exegete. They know that sounds like the Christmas tree. So I come on the scene years ago and I tell people, yo, best thing for y'all to do is put that tree down because we're losing people. But a lot of people in the church, y'all in y'all little bubble, y'all in little seminary, y'all don't care about losing people. So men, that don't make a difference. You got a whole bunch of women, y'all ain't thinking about losing people. But we're having a problem because even if it's not exegetically correct, come dealing with the Bible, it's a problem because the street don't know about exegeting the text. But the street want to know about God. The street, they're looking at philosophies, they're looking at religion, they're looking at the Bible just as much as you upper middle class people with MDivs. Just new people, and our kids are influenced by the street. We got European kids, middle class kids that's influenced by dropouts, by jailbirds with this hip hop music, and they're influenced by philosophies, social philosophies. It spread through Professor Griff, and I'm gonna show how Professor Griff, where he come from, and the role that he plays in this whole thing. Because Nick Cannon is saying slick stuff, Ice Cube is saying slick stuff right now. When you get popular people saying slick stuff, it's gonna spread even faster. So my question is, what is the church gonna do? If y'all don't care about the Christmas tree, if you don't care about the Israelite camps, if you don't care about the work, if you don't care about the church growing, and shout out to those that's church planting. Shout out to those that out here building. But for the most part, we know many people are leaving the church. I'm like the usher in the back of the church offering time. We close the doors. Nobody leaving right now. It's a problem that so many people are leaving the church because they're leaving from what they heard from Kevin Wesley, from what they heard from Sinetta TV, from what they're hearing from Nick Cannon and everybody else. That the Bible was given to oppress and control the people. And there's other doctrines that slid inside there. So we have to do something about it. So when y'all hear me in the middle of the summer talking about the Christmas tree, I'm not crazy. I'm doing this for a reason. Y'all can say what y'all want. These classes that we hold, these teachings that we have are not taught in seminary. I know y'all love seminary. Y'all love MDiv. Y'all love to sit up in the pulpit and whisper to each other, and y'all love to look important in the high places, but we're having a problem. The house is on fire. Our kids are out here murdering. I don't want to talk about white folk and Black Lives Matter and all of that stuff. Black lives don't matter when folk out here killing in Brooklyn. They shooting out. They hitting a few blocks from here. Little boy got hit in his head, got killed 1 year old. We got a problem in the streets, and the streets don't have the ears of the church. The church are acting like they don't care. These guys are talking. These hitters, these Bloods, these Crips. They got philosophies. These gang members, these nation people. They got philosophies, and people are discussing certain things in the light of racism, in light of all of the stuff that's happening. People want to know what's going on. So I want to share some things. There's a connection. And because there's a connection, teachings have been out here. And these teachings been out here for a long time for the More Science Temple. And these teachings been out here from the 5%ers. And Elijah Muhammad and a lot of people sought to find out in the 60s and the 50s, why so much police brutality? Why are they ticking dogs on us? Why are they hanging us? Why are they doing these things? And the answer came up is because they're animals. They're not like us. They're subhuman, they're beneath us. And then Henry Ford, other people, European Henry Ford, started promoting other things. Of course, in the 40s, just a little earlier than that, Hitler and them wanted to bastardize the European people, so they started promoting books like the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, and the Jews are trying to control things, and the Jews are the scum of the earth. There were Jews in Europe, there were Jews in other places that had to go underground because they were forced to practice Catholicism, things that the church did. Later on, I'm going to give y'all the occult teachings of the Magna Carta and how Jay-Z tried to wake y'all up. What does the church do with certain things when the kings and the rulers are attempting to oppress a people? Because our kingdom is not of this world, but we ain't been teaching that kingdom stuff. We ain't been teaching stuff. We've been caught up into emotionalism. So I'm going to pump my brakes, and I'm going to slow down, and we're going to talk about the Magna Carta. We're going to talk about sovereignty as a people. We're going to talk about leaked out from Freemasonry, leaked out from the occult. So now this is the grand finale that the teachings are in the street. When we start dealing with when we start dealing with Hebrewism and Nick Cannon's form of Hebrewism, because there's different forms of Hebrewism. I want to let y'all know that before urban apologists and different people go saying that's how come we don't deal with those Christians. What Christians you talking about? Mormons? What Christians you talking about? Jehovah Witnesses? What Christians you talking about? Christian Science? What Christians you talking about? Pentecostals? What Christians you talking about? Lutheran? It's funny, y'all had Lutheran, Anglican, AME, and all these denominations that came by these white folk, and y'all are not complaining about all these different divisions within Christianity. But y'all are talking about divisions within Hebrew Israelism. So I'm going to explain some of this stuff. You have people that we call messianics, and I'm involved in a lot with those people, and they aren't racist. They have services with European brothers and sisters, and they know Israel has no color. People on this planet know that color is a new construct. It didn't mean anything. But like I said, in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, it was important because Elijah Muhammad, Noble Jew Ali, W.D. Fard, who was a pale man, they came on the scene and they attempted to answer to oppressed people in Chicago and in New York and Houston, the major places that we're having problems right now with our young people. I'm going to explain the major city and the principalities that were ruling them. So because of these things, a lot of people attempted to answer some stuff. The Klan was teaching things that Elijah and them heard from the lodge also. Black people are created outside of the garden. They aren't part of God's original creation. They're subhuman. Other people that heard these teachings jumped in the front of it and they took the same teachings and flipped it. That's how come I said British Israelism and the Klan and the Europeans are chosen nation and they're the lost tribes and all of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is nothing new. It's different tools that different ethnic groups took the same tools to use the same tools. I do construction with people, but the Mexican guys, they got levels, they got squares, and they do their construction with the same chop boxes and sawzalls that we use too. These are just tools. This is what I try to explain to people. These are tools. Now, we have a problem because we don't come to the table and we don't dialogue with other people. We have those that are known as messianics, and those are people I've brought on the show to bring out all of Israel is not wicked. All of Israel is not devil worshippers. A lot of people want to know what happened to Israel after Christ, after the destruction of Rome, after dispersion, what happened to Israel. And there's a lot of history that's mixed up, but to control the information is to control the people. These are things that we're talking about. So people started saying things, and later on in the 60s with the whole, because that's a whole nother thing, because y'all don't know that the FBI and MK Ultra and when they split LSD and mescaline in the street, and everybody in the 60s are just having sex and it's free love, and a lot of black men coming home from Vietnam, they're having sex with women, and they're coming home and having sex with white women and mulatto children, and this and kind of snuck up into the universities in the 70s and the 60s, and it was free love, and everybody was doing what they want to do, and that was part of what Blavatsky and the occult taught, that we got to open them up through sex and free love, and these are all parts of things that were happening, but it was still racial tension. So they attempted to answer a thing, and they answered it by black people are more spiritual and white people are not connected. Anybody from Europe or Turkish or the Caucasus Mountains in those regions, those people were not connected with true spirituality, and they viewed certain things. Then we got people like Richard King, we got Black Dot, and we got Dr. Francis, and we got a lot of other people that were educated that started saying stuff, and they were geneticists, and they were scientists, and they were psychologists, and they started saying stuff, and the Iceman inheritance, and this is how so many of these other books came out. They started saying these people are subhuman, they're beneath us. We have melanin, we have more soul. That's how come we can dance. And when you look in the 70s, if you watch American Bandstand, white people had flat butts and they didn't know how to move, and they didn't want the people to mingle because they said if the seed of a black man gets into a black woman, and that's the whole thing with the Klan. Duke said he liked Farrakhan because Farrakhan said we're of another people. We don't need to mix us with them. And the Klan didn't want their seed to mix either. In the midst of everybody having free sex and white women having sex with black men, and black men and white men having sex with black women, and all of this stuff. And this was, we were younger in the 70s, and porn just coming out. We were younger, but some things were happening back then. So now all of these things have come to a head, and we've attempted to set up a science. And they would ask us certain questions. We would go there and they would ask us, it's based on a science. They say somebody black like me, and I got to introduce y'all to my wife. Somebody black like me and dark like my wife. Can we have a blonde hair, blue-eyed baby? And then people started digging and pulling up other books. When Noah was born, Noah was light-skinned, and Noah's father thought he was a son of the Watcher. The Freemasons were reading this and dropping jewels in Harlem and dropping stuff in the street around Marcus Garvey, and the Rastafarians, they were dropping stuff on the block. They were dropping crumbs to lead people. Because this thing ain't just come on the scene. So when these people started picking things up, and remember when I said the occult door started flooding open because of what Helen Blavatsky and Lee Beta and Annie Besant said. They said the occult teachings of Freemasonry has to come into the world for all. A lot of y'all parents grew up with the little burning incense they were bringing in the East. That's what Freemasons talk about the East. They were bringing in the East to us, a knowledge from the East. They were bringing in some funny dressed guys. They were called gurus, and Helen Blavatsky and them started introducing us to Eastern mysticism, and it came in with the weed and the free love. But there were pimps involved in this because people wanted to have free love and free sex, and they were opening up portals. I'm going to start talking about how the other guys came on the scene with portals and Aleister Crowley and the rest of them, because all of this stuff is connected. The devil just had certain things for us as black people with the pain that we're going through. So he gave us the occult doctrine that the black man is God and he can raise up to his higher vibrational self. And they started teaching these lessons in the same time. There were other people that came on the scene and said, we're not just Jews. We are literally, because remember before we were saying we were like the children of Israel. I grew up in Archbishop Roy Brown and Archbishop McKinley. They were saying we Judah. When Nita Bynum and them started bringing out the Ark of the Covenant and the shofar, but they wasn't saying it physically. They say spiritually we Judah, because Judah means praise. They were even saying it in the Church of God and Christ and Paul Morton and certain other loose Baptists that started getting full of the Holy Ghost. So we've been saying these things. Certain people have been saying these things. Then a guy named Terry mystically started saying, God told me that I am Judah, that we are physical descendants. So some things started happening. I'm trying to give y'all a lot of information in a little bit of time, and I don't want to bring out too much because people melanin and all of that, people are going to be offended, but they attempted to prove some stuff about white people to us outside of that, their behavior and their dance and how they didn't have rhythm and how we're sons. We're children of the sun. And they introduced Kemetic spirituality because that went with the higher degrees of Freemasonry. And they started introducing that and sprinkling it around in the Nation of Islam, sprinkling it around in the New Age movement. Then what's that other white lady that came on the scene? She wrote, these are pieces of things coming together. So we had people saying, we have people right now that's regular Hebrews, that's messianics, like people that I've brought on the scene, like Stephen Darby that was on the scene probably a little earlier that passed away, but people like Teo Ministries and Sister E and Pastor Kelly and the people that I bring on, the people that are just born again, they were already born again. They believe the Son is eternal. They believe all of that stuff, but then we got other people. We got people like the camps and people involved in the camps. Freemasonry had a hand in the formulation of One West. Now I'm going to give y'all some stuff, vocab, and I may give y'all. Freemasonry had its hand in that, and with Freemasonry and the higher degrees of Freemasonry, it's built on the mysteries of Solomon Temple, so it's biblical. And they said it's biblical, but they snuck in their Talmud. They snuck in their Kabbalah. They snuck in their witchcraft, and witchcraft was connected with Freemasonry, and it's all Luciferianism. So then they became eclectic, and Freemasons have always, all of the leaders, even our leaders in Prince Hall, in the Kojic Church, even our leaders, all of the leaders have always read other stuff because they wanted to be up. They wanted to be abreast on stuff. So in the midst of reading this stuff, they said we can do certain things with different numbers. We can control certain things with numbers and our higher self, and they started being more eclectic. And what we have is a Hebrewism that's eclectic because it got Enochian magic, it got Kabbalah, it got Torah, it got some satanic, it got other stuff. Because remember, a lot of them camps and a lot of them guys, they were involved in different stuff, and some of that different stuff that they were involved in, they believed in reincarnation. I'm the manifestation. But then the fool said he was the comforter. I'm the reincarnation of Solomon. So we hear that from some One West dudes. We're hearing that from them because the occult teaching snuck in. Now that don't have nothing to do with regular Messianic people that know that Talmud is devil worship. They know that Kabbalah is devil worship and gematria and dealing with numbers, and they know that that's devil worship and they shun it. So I don't want people to be ignorant and mix everybody together. See, God is opening up door, and is more and we're clearing up the confusion. But there's people that don't know any better, and because they're banging for a group, they want to come in here. They want to see that in certain people up here in Harlem, and in that they mix everybody together. Y'all saw when Carmelo Anthony was chopping it up. He started talking about we the people. Then he started talking about the supreme wisdom. He started talking about the 120. So he's mixing up the Bible in Hebrew, but he's mixing that with Clarence 13X and the 5% lessons. It's all mixed up. It's an eclectic. Canon is talking about. And with that type of Hebrewism, there's a superiority too, because we have what we call the ethnic superiority. The white man is beneath us. The white man is the Caucasus Mountain. If y'all look at the video, Farrakhan taught that Moses had to go into the Caucasus Mountain to clean up the white man and put a board in his back because he was crawling around on all fours. And I don't even want to offend my brothers and sisters, but they're teaching just in the street. Apologists ain't going to give y'all all this. And Farrakhan said he put a board in the European back so they could walk uprightly, and they taught them the laws of God. And they're giving them the laws of God, and the laws of God was connected with Freemasonry. We gave them that, and they took it and they flipped it. And they came and they built Capitol Hill. We'll talk about the Magna Carta and how the Magna Carta, that a people would be free and free from the Pope and free from the religion. And when the Magna Carta came, and that's a whole nother thing. I don't want to get on it because we're going to talk about color, and we're going to talk about race, and we're going to talk about how people in their eyes and the sun, and there's a lot of things that pastors I spoke to, they understand that stuff. Any pastor's a Freemason, he'll look at you like he's crazy because he's known to swear and to keep the secrets, but he know it. He's a pastor, but he know it. And once in a while, if you get around him and you chop it up long enough like me with them, they'll drop certain things on you. Yeah, them people beneath us. Yeah, we gave them laws. Yeah, we gave them certain things. But if I go more deeply into it, I'm going to have to explain to y'all, like the apostle was saying earlier, certain things are moved by laws. And Plato and Socrates and all of them cats, they knew it was laws. So by the time Prince Henry and the Navigator came on the scene, these people in the Moors came on the set, these people was regulated by laws. They were governed by laws, and they knew there were certain laws and principles, and they gave it to them. So Freemasons said, we're going to run this whole thing, but they acknowledged there were some black people. We received this light from Egypt. Now, what is the light? I'm doing too much. I need to go offline with this. Now, what is the light? Because complete daddy grace, all of the cults is connected to this, and y'all sleeping, y'all can't see. There's a deep connection, and there's a spell on the church. Now, how can we know it's a spell? We can pray, or should we understand certain things and call it out and speak to it? I'm not going to bastardize the whole movement because I understand what's going on. It's deeper than what we think. Y'all do know voodoo was on Azusa Street, right? I want to make sure y'all know that, because a lot of these church folk confusing. We ain't have voodoo, Charles. Something right now. Let me park right here for a minute. I'm gonna tell you folks something right now, because y'all funny. A few things came on the scene, and they said because the truth came out, they had to take certain things and put it in signs and symbols on buildings. So they start telling us certain things. I'm gonna give y'all certain hints. They talk about Pythagoras, and they talk about Pythagoras and how Pythagoras knew math. How can Pythagoras knew math? And who's the other guy that they said is the father, the Greek guy that's the father of medicine? By the time the Greeks started calling him the father of medicine, they was already calling a black man Imhotep God. They was already calling him the healer, the deliverer, the pyramid builder, the multi-genius, the one anointed before the Greeks. So how can they have math? That's how come another Freemason came on the scene to give y'all thank you so much. That's how come another Freemason came on the scene to give y'all knowledge in 54. His name was James, and he wrote a book, Stolen Legacy, because he got into the Masonic history of how the Greeks did go. It's funny that the farmers weren't initiated into the mysteries in Kemet and Babylon, but the Greeks got there, and Herodotus said by the time he got there in 450 cups, and he bought gold and silver, and the priests brought him into the mysteries and told him about the oracles of God. They're telling y'all of something that's handed down. This is why Washington, D.C., they're paying homage to Kemet. These preachers, Freemasons, they know the stuff in the sauce. Now it's an awakening. Now knowledge is coming out. Now other books are coming out. So a lot of preachers, we can only talk about what we know. We're a little confused, and it's not about color. Of course, it's not about color. If it's not about color, you can say what you want, but it's been about nations. I'm going to give y'all something, and I'm going to slide Moses. When Moses came out, the man of God, the prophet of God, he ran up on his brother-in-law, Cushite. He said, be our eyes and our ears in the wilderness. What does that mean? Y'all going to bother me, and I'm going to tell y'all going to bother me. You keep bothering me. Your Bible says that. Then Moses said, please be our eyes. Why would a prophet need Ethiopia to lead them out? But God showed you there was a connection with Ethiopia. That's how come as soon as the Spirit comes, the Spirit ordered Philip to go down into the way of Gaza. And there was a man of Ethiopia in the chariot. So when Mussolini and Haile Selassie and them, they was doing their thing, and they was trying to spray the Muslim and the Catholic Church, when they was doing their thing, they knew what they was doing. They knew they had to deal with the people. But y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want that knowledge. Y'all want to jump up and down, and this is real history. So do I connect redemptive history with the book? Because that is a history of a people and God redeeming the planet. But how is it unfolding? That's all I'm asking y'all. I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer. I ain't been the seminary. But how is it unfolding? They're showing us through signs and symbols. God is calling us as a people to personal holiness. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? Why I keep banging on Bishop Ellis and them dudes got these black College of African American bishops dressing like Catholics? Why am I doing doing that because we was praying in Africa. God has shown some stuff, and we was praying to the dead in Africa before the white man had that. The white man, when I say the white man, that offends y'all, but the Pope is a white man. Rome is a white man. Before they put a spin on it, all Mary already praying to black folk. And the high God offended us. We have sinned. But now they cleaned it up, and they the blue-eyed people, and they in Rome ruling. They telling us we can pray to Mary and it's good. No. And we got Protestant bishops trying to drag us back into that. They're part of the priesthood from Kemet. These same Christian preachers are part of the priesthood. Period. And I'm showing these symbols. Through the steep, we can prove that. There's symbols, there's breadcrumbs that have been left for us. And the breadcrumbs are nothing but a story laid out in parables. And remember the disciples said, why do you speak to them in parables? I'm in the book right now, but this book is above y'all head. And they said, well, why don't you quote the book? I ain't got to quote the book. A lot of y'all ain't ready for the book. Period. I love everybody. We are the world. Whatever y'all want to do. I know God is love. I love y'all and I talk harsh, but listen, I'm from the block. This is different. I don't play with you church dudes that grew up in church. I was in church, but I was connected with the block. The block is where the business is at. The block is where the influence is at. And that's what's happening right now. So the block and the occult teachings have stole away a generation. When Clarence 13X was shooting dice and doing this thing on the block, what happened? Elijah Muhammad put him out the Nation of Islam. He said, we're going to hit the streets. He liked playing dice. He liked playing dice, wearing a do-rag, hanging out in the corner. He said, we're going to take it to the kids. We're going to take it to the projects. And they started teaching the lessons to the young kids. Young kids going to Spofford, going to Rikers Island. Then they started with cats that was Crips standing, because them Crips and them Bloods in California, they started coming up here building with the guards, moving pounds of weed, but they building the doctrine. They sharing the doctrine with them. Because Crips and Bloods originally, they weren't they weren't doing bad stuff, running around killing. They were on the set for good stuff, so they started building with other people. People that had money started building with Frankie Crocker. They started building with different DJs and basketball players. They started building with people, and then everybody building, they started talking with the pimps. They started meeting in Chicago. They started meeting in Atlantic City, and the wisdom started spreading. This is what it is. All right, my thing is, it says it's back on. Do me a favor to know if it's I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi in here. We got new equipment. Oh, I'm going back early. I got to call Apostle. I might not be on. Type 1 if y'all still hear me. Let me see if I think it's still saying that I'm live in here. I got to go down to see it. So there's a lot of things that we got to look at. There's a lot of teachings that we have to look at. There's a lot of stuff that's involved in all of this. And I don't mean to be harsh towards other people, but they don't know the depths of it. So when they say different type of subject to me, I ain't got to jump up and tell them to start acting all crazy in the middle of Baptist church with my man and them, because they don't do that. That's okay. God is pouring out his spirit and doing another thing. He's doing another thing in the earth, but the church, we better wake up. Some people say just give up on the church. The church ain't nothing but trash. There's been so much nonsense in the church largely because of occult orders, largely because of a lot of that stuff. Like I said, we was already praying to the ancestors, and we knew we were supposed to shut that down. Now Europe and the Catholic Church doing it. They trying to give us, they trying to remix, and that's all a lot of people in the conscious community was saying. They trying to remix the spirituality and throw it on us. We been had it. We've been praying to the dead, calling the dead saints. We've been doing that. They Johnny come latelys with it, but we don't want to see it is in trouble. The block is in trouble. The block is getting that knowledge. Now it's in middle class America. Now you preacher kids are talking that wisdom stuff, talking that lesson stuff. Oh no, I know y'all heard about it back in the 70s and Farrakhan back in the days, but now the bishop's son and them talking about it right now. And powerful teachers, plus the kids got the bag from doing certain things. They got the bag for doing certain things. That guy Mesrim, I don't even want to talk about that and speaking things and it came from another avenue. In favor, I'm going to see on my type 1 in there. And because pastors hear me talk like this, they'll hear me discussing some things. A lot of pastors would be upset. I'm not trying to be a pastor. I'm trying to give y'all information. Y'all think it's a game. No semi. One thing I can say, shout out to Dr. E. And if I beef with anybody, I don't switch it up. If I be like, yo, this dude is whatever, it's still, listen, faithful, still a problem. Faithful putting in work. Shout out to Dr. E. And them. I learned a lot from him. One thing I could say, I be like, man, when they gonna start teaching this? She said, man, we ain't got to worry about them teaching this up in no seminary. We got to get out here and start teaching this. I salute him. I remember him saying that we got to get out here and start teaching this. We can't get spellbound by seminary. We got to drop this knowledge out here. But because because we dropping this knowledge out here and we got people like myself that's going further than the average pastor would go with certain talks. It don't mean that we need it. It don't mean that I'm your enemy. This is just what it is. We put questions out there for people to think. It ain't because we hate the gospel. I love Jesus Christ. We got to be led by his spirit and not led by these other folk, not led by intellect. The deep state is deeper than you think. The deep state is all up in the church. Why you think so many pastors want to be connected with? They want to be all up in the face of these politicians and all these churches. They part of that deep state. They part of the boule. This thing go back to Kemet. This thing go back to Greece. This thing go back to Rome. Their job is to rule and control the people. Later on, I'll get into the whole history of the Magna Carta, how the King John, he wanted to do his own thing. Then the barons was like, hold up. They went and bagged the man, come over here. And they sat down like, yo, you going to do something. And he signed them papers and act like this. We're going to have to treat all of the people fair. Later on, what the church did, the church took that thing and flipped it. We're going to flip this thing on these pastors that think they're going to be down with secret society. Magna Carta, boy, you're going to free all these people. Everybody got to get respected. But what the church turned around and do. Now we coming up underneath the authority of Rome, but this is how scripture apparently shows us it's going to play out. So when certain people as Israel, I get offended, they get mad with them. They be like, listen, the church, y'all ain't nothing but, y'all Protestants, y'all ain't nothing but Catholic, because we don't know a lot of history of people that never came under the authority of the Catholic Church that the Catholics murdered. We don't know the history, because a lot of this history, and that's all people are fighting for is information. A lot of this history is these people don't want to discuss it. So if people put out anything to challenge anything, or that's against the norm, that's against the order, or against the story that's already out there, to have people start thinking, people are going to be offended. Is Nick Cannon right? No, but don't start bunching every Israelite together with Nick Cannon, thinking white people are beneath them. That's an eclectic form of Hebrewism. But we're seeing that more and more. That's why I did that video 2-3 days ago talking about supremacy in a subhuman culture, because many blacks, that's taught throughout our community, that Europeans are beneath us. And that makes black people feel good. It feeds to their pride. But others are arguing we can prove it scientifically. Genetically, 2 white babies can't make a black child like you. They lack melanin, but 2 black people can make a albino, can make a light-skinned baby, and that shows right there superior. And they got their things just like the Klan got their things. Look at the amount of crime that the black people commit. Look at them at sickle cell and all of this high blood pressure. They beneath the European gene and all of this other nonsense. All of this nonsense. So now, do the church sit back and say we have nothing to do with that? We don't discuss none of that. What did the church do? We don't discuss none of that. We're stepping back from all of that stuff. Or do we attempt to attack it? But we can't attack it and speak on it unless we have knowledge. Some people say if you don't talk on it, it's going to go away. It's going to disappear. How is it going to disappear? How it's going to disappear? And then there's other things that people can't deal with, because we got what we call anti-Semitism, Semitism. You know, you can't say anything at all. So some people say, well, it's good for Nick Cannon. You can't get out here and speak. You can't get out here. Some people would argue it's free speech, but free speech ain't free. Now he done lost a good job. This is just how it is. You can't just say what you want to say. Do we have lunatics out here denying the Holocaust? Absolutely so. But at the same time, to get to the bottom of the stuff, we got to start talking. People have lied. They lied in history. They done told y'all straight up to show y'all they lied. They told y'all straight up Christopher Columbus discovered America. Forget them millions of folk right that was here. He discovered America. So because it's new to the white man, and that's a lot has been going on like that, and I don't want to offend nobody, my European brothers and sisters, but I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk what God put on my heart. And because it was new to them, it was new to the world. Ta-da! We just found these people, we call these people Indians. They were looking for India. They folk is making mistakes, and in their mistakes, we're going to name them Indians, because they were looking for India. And it was lost. Y'all can't see the irony there. Y'all can't see some madness right there. But whatever they say, go. They write the books. They tell a story. And that's how it is. So now people are digging and looking for a deeper story. So now other people are coming out with Van Sertima, where other people wrong, where people traveling before Europeans were doing all this traveling. Now we're going to get into the cocaine mummies. How did cocaine get to Kemet when it's not indigenous to over there? It's from South America. Could it be that a dark people knew how to build a boat? Impossible. Because in the mind of those racists, it was impossible. Could it be that dark people knew how to build a pyramid? Impossible. So in their mind, because they had racist lens, that's how I tell people we got to be careful. These are histories that we have to discuss. There's a lot of things to show and prove that them folk ran into some stuff later on, but when they ran into it, that's new to the world. No, it ain't new to the world, it's new to y'all. But now y'all are in control of everything, so y'all making it sound like this is the story. It's new to the world, but we got to look at evidences. This is how come I say history has nothing to do with salvation, but history is important to a knowledgeable people right now if we're building, if we're edifying, if we're going to do some stuff, if we're going to overturn some things. So I'll tell guys we must go further. When y'all start telling me, oh well, Jesus was a white boy, you just touching the tip of the, you ain't playing. No, we gotta go into the conspiracy. Oh, that word, y'all don't like that word, but that word is in the Bible. Oh, that's how come I said deep state Christianity is going to help build the temple and usher in the Antichrist because y'all don't want history. Y'all don't want writ. Y'all want certain things with writ that they gave y'all. Y'all want that, but y'all want eat the whole book. Let's eat the whole book. Let's examine the whole book. Matter of fact, let's put these titles down. Let's all get on the altar. Forgive me. I've talked wrong to a lot of people. I got a bad attitude. I have some violent streaks in me. Let's all get on the altar and pray together. Let's put our titles down. Let's all pray. And that's a good place to start, but y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to stand over me in the altar, pray, keep praying, the fire's coming, pray some more. I'm like, oh, my back hurt, pray some more. And that's what I want to do to me, but y'all want to get down with me and pray. Tired of lording over the people. When God starts speaking, he's rebuking pastors. There's shepherds that's out here, they ain't writing exact, period. I don't care if y'all don't like it. And by me saying that, if the shoe don't fit, keep it moving. A lot of pastors acting, well, Berean had bad experiences. He's trying to act like all the church. No, we're not trying to act like all the church. But boy, we gotta call a spade a spade. We running around here playing. We running around here acting retarded. We gotta call it for what it is. Because if I sit back and I try to act like nothing is happening, every kid in the house is getting molested, every kid in the Boy Scouts is getting molested, and I'm trying to act like nothing is happening, I'm part of the problem. I gotta move out the way. And there's a lot of preachers that's part of the problem because they're trying to act like they're not saying anything. And even when they know other preachers are doing what they're doing and doing their thing, they're not speaking against it. That's the same thing we telling them European people, the same thing we telling them good cops. If you don't speak against police brutality, if you Europeans don't speak against this Karen spirit that's running around out here, y'all are part of the problem. Y'all silence is part of the violence. So it's the same thing. We got to make sure that if the shoe fit, we got to make sure we're doing the same thing. That's all it is. There's a lot of sin in our neighborhood. We talk about Black Lives Matter. We are in grave sin. We're in grave sin because we want to do what we want to do. And we ate some of this nonsense from some of all of these other people. Not just Oprah, but the preachers and the rappers. Everybody that's fed us stuff. That's how come I like that the apostle came on and he started talking to us about certain things. What are we listening to? Who are you listening to? That music, that influence, and these people specifically, I think it's enough information out there from Professor Griffin, other people, that we could say that rap music was good and rap music was positive, then it was a spin on it. Shake your booty spin. It was a stripper spin that came on it. It was a gangster life chase material, bust your gun spin. So people start talking about busting their gun and being thugs, and they weren't even thugs because they were selling a culture to a people. And our younger people were feeding into these things. I'm not buying into the hype. Oh, the white man broke his families. White man ain't did everything. There was a whole bunch of us during slavery was married. There was a whole bunch of us in the 40s was married. These are facts. We was married. These are facts. And then later on, then what happened in the 60s? What happened in the 70s? What spirit came on us to walk away from the kids and the family? What spirit came on us? What spirit came on us just to start having sex, not knowing who your baby daddy is? Now you all are more embarrassing yourself. There's certain things we say we blame on them, but we doing too. I'm guilty of it. I remember they were busting their guns. Some person got shot coming out of Home Depot. A person got shot in Maryland at the gas station. I'm like, Lord, these white folk going crazy and got a sniper out there. When they said the name, I said, what the? I said, wait a minute. Come to find out these wasn't just black folk. These were good, proud Jamaicans. I called my wife. My wife's Jamaican. I said, what in the world? Yo, these is black snipers. That was something we thought was unheard of. Since then, we got some black shooters, school shooters. We got all type of stuff. We got some people. We got to be careful. And that pride, that's part of that division. So now that's on us as a people. Some people say, well, you can't be an oppressed people and be racist. You crazy. I build with too many races, too many 5%. I've been around too many hitters, done hit Europeans. Like, yo, they going to get it. We not playing with them devils. They got to be eliminated off the planet. What are you saying? What are you saying? But I got educated friends that say you can't be black and be racist. I know black killers. I know black killers, and they've killed the Europeans, and they're ready for a race war. They ready to get it on. They think, I know some people, they don't, all they buy is weed and Timbs and guns. Plenty guns in the hood. So we got to be careful, but who are we using these on? Is this sin backfiring on us? I hear the Spirit of God saying we got to repent. We got to repent. And when I say we, I'm talking about me too. Forgive me if I have offended anybody. It's time for us to repent. It's time for us to get in that book and believe the book. We got to be careful because we got educated devils in that book that's teaching us, oh, that part of the book ain't good. That part of the book is good. The devil is a lie. The whole book is good. We're going to eat the whole book, period. And that's all it is. And we got to deal with that. And with that, I'm done. With that, I'm done. Don't lump everybody together with Canon. We can't do it. This is a more of people. But if those guys are pointing that out, and that's a main thing that got thousands of our kids leaving, about hundreds up here in New York City alone, if y'all think y'all can do it without that, I don't know. The house is on fire. I would rather throw that tree away. But y'all want to argue me exegetically not doing it because I'm on the block. I see what's going on. I see the path. I have questions big kids are asking me. But y'all don't know that. Y'all telling me y'all telling me this nonsense from seminary. I don't want to hear nonsense. Y'all learn that thing and learn how to build up. Mouth about who you are in the barbershop and listen to what they gotta say. And then dialogue, but y'all can't build. Y'all not used to people talking. Y'all used to doing all the talking. It's a new day. It's a new day, and people are challenging you. They challenge Jesus. Who do you think you are? It's a spirit of pride and greed. It's a spirit of the church that got y'all cats twisted. And I don't mean offense. I don't mean no offense by it, but everything I say, y'all gonna find offense because it's challenging y'all, and y'all gonna have to study. Y'all gonna have to pray. We're gonna have to get back to the old way. I don't care about no degree. I want what mom and them had. I want what mom and them had. We got knowledge, but we need that power, that prayer. We need what mom and them had because we can break things, we can see deliverance, people can see things happen, and we ain't doing nothing. Intellect and talking a bunch of books ain't doing nothing. Look at our neighborhoods. I'm not thinking about focus and police. I'm talking about our own neighborhoods. I'm talking about our own. My people is killed in all black neighborhoods in Houston, Florida, all up here in New York and Chicago. I ain't thinking about no white. I'm talking to y'all. And this offends people. With you to support, I don't even know what they're moving. That's another thing. A lot of us we're tried and we're challenged because we do things and we expect y'all to help us, to help support us and ride us out in books and this and that and all of that stuff. Man, God, you got to open up some doors. And that's been my prayer. And it's been a drought for me for years. But in the midst of this COVID thing, when everybody was laughing, what church do he go to? What church he go? I'm locked in with folk praying now when all of y'all ain't going to church. And God's opened up a door. It's a flood right now. When it was a drought or in the time of a drought, it's a flood right now. And God is blessing. And we're going to do what we're going to do for the kingdom. We're preparing. And I'm with some good people. Shout out to the pastor and them. Shout out to now y'all may not like them. All talking about logos, Bible, software, but if you look up the word and you do this, see y'all listen, get the power. Go learn how to pray. Y'all want to chat and read the book and go through the Greek and be on logos all day and night. Go learn how to pray. Y'all want to quote scripture. Y'all quoting scripture to death. That don't mean nothing. I know devil worshipers and Freemasons and Luciferians quoting scripture all day. Y'all ain't telling me nothing about that. He don't quibble. All right, y'all, I'm gone. I'm gonna see if I can. Do me a favor, share the video. A lot of people upset. I have no beef with nobody. No urban apologists. I have no beef with no Israelites. I don't care who I bring on my platform. I bring on my platform, and I'm doing it for a reason. God has charged me to do this. Leave me alone. Get your ministry jumping. You do your thing. You put your mouth on me for shine or for whatever reason. You don't have to do that. I'm preaching Christ. Don't bother me. I tell y'all I'm a little crazy Pentecostal. I got some other stuff too. I got a lot of my friends ain't saved. I'm gonna tell y'all that now. A lot of my friends ain't saved. I know y'all might got cousins and kinfolk, but not me right now. I'm gonna go pray. We gotta pray. And I don't care that y'all are upset that there's Israelites challenging y'all if they're quoting scripture out of context. Come in, let's just build, let's sit down and build. Because there's most people in the conversation, they're in the middle. And being in the middle, they're just trying to find out what's what. And if it seemed like those people are quoting more scriptures and y'all got more, oh, you got to understand, well, the exegete, you got to understand it doesn't really mean a Christmas tree. You don't understand. It doesn't really mean an Easter egg. You don't understand it was 3 days. It was Friday. It was Wednesday. And all of that stuff is nonsense. We got to figure something out. That's all I'm saying. Want to get in touch with me, BereanTeacher@gmail.com. If I talk on, I'm gonna talk a little more. But to be honest, even when you're talking about black white thing, and you're talking about Diop, and you're talking about Dr. King and Black Dot, and what they talk about in them books, and Dr. Francis and all of that, it can offend some people, and people will take a snippet and go, "He's racist. Look what he said." Because remember, truth is the new hate speech. You can't speak truth. No two men can't be, why would he say two men can't love each other and have sex? And you can't even speak your portion of truth. They're attempting in all the arguing and back and forth, they're attempting to muzzle every Bible believer on the planet. Trust me, these people, even in black life, these folk, this is the society. They move on a different level than we move on. This is doctrine, and they got a plan. They got a plan. They want a different. We're simple. We as people are level. They're thinking. I heard the other guy said it on MSNBC last night. He said, "Well, we got to do something to prepare for 7 billion vaccines. What are they gonna do when they got a vaccine, y'all? When they want to take y'all Bibles before you could come out that house, before your kids could come back to school, you got to take this vaccine. Then we're gonna see where our spirituality is at. Before we start beefing with them, we better, as Bible believers, we better all get together." If we all believe in all of the major things, this little minor stuff about the rapture, this little minor stuff about how to try to hold on to y'all in y'all little corner, these are God's people. These are God's people. And we got to listen. It's deeper than y'all think. I build with mystics. They not playing with us. They not playing. Y'all can say whatever. He's on COVID. He going to talk and see what they talk. I got a good idea about this thing. They ain't playing no games with us. And the average person, forget the average pastor, is simple. He may know biblical doctrine, but he's simple to your cult lord that's in these streets, that's flooded these streets. The average Christian don't even, it hurts my heart. I feel like crying. They don't even have a chance. They don't got a chance in these streets. Y'all talking about the Israelites, y'all ain't got a chance with Sinetta and them cats. When they coming from every angle on y'all. Yo, it's real. That's all I can say. Y'all running around say Berean this, Berean that, boy. It's real. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all better go pray. Y'all better go pray. Because one-on-one talking to them, y'all can't see them. History, y'all can't see them. They running circles around y'all with your own book. Then Bart Ehrman and them ain't helping us. Yo, I'm gone, man. I'm gone.